And now we are recording. All right. Inside of that shared drive, in the folders is the PD. Below that is some other documents, but there's two that I want you to be aware of that are in there. The first one is the one shop doc. That has just about every link that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to pull that one up first because I want to talk about the three most things that most of you are asking me about right now and just kind of point out where the stuff is inside of here. The first one I want to point out that people are having trouble with is Notebook 19. Okay. Inside of the install link, if they are running High Sierra, and hopefully we'll only have another month and a half of this, but if they are running Notebook 19 for High Sierra, depending on the speed of the wireless in the building you're working at, will depend if you get an error or not. So it is a huge file because it's sitting in my Google Drive because Smart only keeps the last two versions up on the website. So I took a copy down, put it in my drive. That's where it pulls from. But what Amber and I have deduced is that when she put it on when she went to her hotspot, it came down just like that. So it is the wireless in some of the schools. So if you know you're going in to troubleshoot and you know the OS is older, my recommendation to you would be like when you're at 440, just put it on a flash drive, just download it and put it on a flash drive and you'll be able to stick it on any machine that you need to from the flash drive. I mean, it's like 1.3 gigs. It's pretty big, but it's the wireless that's stopping it, not the file itself. The file itself is good. It's just that it's too slow so that it hiccups in between and then it kicks you off and tells you you can't do it. So I just want you to be aware of that inside of there. Also inside of here, most of the boards got touched by Karen's group, but there's a few that didn't. So if you remember last year when we had the 6000S series, there were, it looked like lightning bolts kind of striking across the screen. That's the HDMI problem. So when you get to a board that has the lightning bolts, hopefully we don't have as many, but it's the HDMI setting, and that's right inside of here. It's just a setting, and the stepper is in here just to follow, and you can even send it to the teacher. These are not hard directions to be able, it's a setting that they have to go back and change it into the 1.4 in the slots they're using. Okay,
That's that's only the 6000S.
Correct.
So you would
We're not having a ton of these because Karen's people did hit most of them, but we have hit a few that were older, not old, but maybe were done last spring, installed last spring that Karen didn't hit. She did the summer moving forward. So it's not bad. Just remember they have to go in, and that again is that lightning bolt looking thing across the screen. It's just changing the HDMI settings. So that's pretty easy, but we are finding a few just so that you know. And the last one that you may want to do is the touch on the panels, especially for Big Sur, for any of your schools going forward. We have gotten rid of all of the steppers inside that we have made and pushed everybody towards the smart steppers. They're not as pretty, but they're going to keep updating to match any OS. And I found that humorous because the newest OS for Big Sur is freezing people's bar along the bottom. So I know these things are going to keep happening. That's not us. That's Apple themselves. So I'm good. But we want to keep pushing them to this link instead of making our own steppers because they can just click on here and click on the resolve and follow through with it. So this is the link here that I have been leaving with my SCTs and saying when they go to hook up, here's something they can follow, they can walk through, you can walk through. If you're having problems, let me know. I'll be glad to help you. But it's the first line of defense is they can follow these issues and just do exactly what it asks for. Okay. There are other links on that sheet that I just want to point out to you, but those are the three common most things that people are asking me about right now. So I just wanted to point those out to you so that you knew they were there. But that smart one shop doc is going to have most of the answers because when you guys have a question, usually that's where I put all the answers. So it's one stop, obviously, to find. All right, questions on that? All right, then we're going back to our drive. And I want you to find the one that says Lumio and notebook updates. whereas the one-stop doc is more about troubleshooting, doing some of that, this is going to be a doc that's more about instructional things. So the very first one that I want you to be aware of is just any Lumio update that we had this summer. Instead of keep doing our own, again, we're just linking you right to the smart site, and it'll go step by step what they added, when they added. So like the Desmos calculator was done in September. It'll go through, it'll have screenshots for some of them. They added the quick training videos inside the app if you needed. They added search inside of here. I mean, most of you have done PD this summer anyway, so you're aware of some of the new things that were done. I just want you to be aware that there is a document. So when your teachers are asking what came new this summer, you can just give them the web link and they can actually see. I think the shortcuts are probably some of the bigger things because that select all Command A works. You can then use a drop down. The Command G doesn't work at this point in time, but you can use any one drop down and group them all then to be able to move stuff around inside of Lumio. So some of the stuff that we liked inside of Notebook is very quickly getting inside of Lumio, but this will kind of give you a hint of where everything is and what was all added to kind of give you some ideas. Okay, so that is going to sit there and that will keep updating. The next thing I want you to be aware of is the toolkits. The toolkits are something similar to what Tanya is working on with the effective strategies, except for these are all smart ideas. These were all created by Melody, Sarah, myself, and the other team at Smart to kind of give you some ideas. So there's a toolkit for Lumio that has several parts, components underneath of that, several toolkits underneath of that. There's also a toolkit for Notebook and a toolkit for IQ. We're going to just look at the Lumio toolkits today. And a matter of fact, we're just going to look at two of them because I'm going to split you into two groups. And we're going to look at today the social and emotional learning one and the formative assessment one. Okay, so I'm going to put you into two groups. We're going to split you into breakout rooms, going to put you into two groups. Whatever, I'm going to tell you which group you're in, but you're going to click on that particular one. It will bring you to a toolkit, which is just a Google Slides presentation, but it gives you some different ideas. So for instance, in the social emotional one, if I'm looking at relationship skills, I can click on here. It's going to give me 3 different ideas. And if I like those ideas, it will allow me to save it to my library. So I'm actually getting a copy of these in my Lumio library to put into anything I want to use. Okay. Same thing with formative assessment. It looks the exact same way. So if somebody's trying to use Lumio for formative assessment, you can hand them this entire toolkit. These are made for all teachers. You can share them with whoever. So if one of your schools is working on a specific thing, or if you like pages out of it, it kind of gives you some ideas. But if I'm trying to look for a mid-lesson check-in to see where they are, well, there's a different way of looking at KWLQ with a shout it out, or I may looking at a classroom poll or something along those lines. It gives you ideas. Actually, you click on it, it'll take you to that Lumio library kind of thing. And then it will ask you if you want to save a copy to your library. So then you can then edit it and use it however you want to inside of there. So it kind of gives you an idea. So what I'm going to do is break you into two groups. I'm also going to put you in student pacing in our document here because there is a form to fill out, of course. So if you're in the social emotional group, you're going to fill in this one. If you are in the formative assessment one, you're going to fill in this one. The 2 from yesterday already did 2 of them. So they did the active learning one. So we'll come back, but it'll give you a spot to be able to come back and look at these later. And they did the other one. And then I'm going to break you into 2 groups, put you into breakout rooms. You're just looking at your toolkit that I assign you to. You're filling out your form that I'm assigning you to. And then when we come back, I'm just going to ask somebody to kind of report out what you found, what might you be able to use, and how might you alter it so that we can use it for other people. And that's where we were talking about yesterday with Tanya, is the fact that we want to be able to take some of these ideas and move them in, not just as is into the Effective Strategies website, but put SDP kind of content in them and then move those kind of ideas over. Does that make sense? And Beth's here just soon enough that you'll all, whoever works, wherever she lands, you're going to have to move her into that. And Melody, have you made 2 breakout rooms?
What's your code
Yeah,
again,
got
Terry?
it.
953-982.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have the breakout rooms, so let me know
Perfect.
whenever.
Okay, so if you are in breakout room 1, you are going to do the social and emotional one. If you are in breakout room 2, you're going to do the formative assessment. So they're on page 7 and 8 of my Lumio thing. All right.
Terry, what was that code again? I'm sorry.
That's okay. 953-982.
Thank you. I did
Yep.
952.
I might have said it
All right.
backwards. When I'm trying to think and talk at the same time, it doesn't always come out right. All right. Melody, if you want
You
to
ready?
send them to the breakout rooms,
Okay.
and we'll pop in and see how you guys are doing. All right, which one you want to go to?
I did 1 yesterday, so I guess I'll do 2 today. Or wait, did I do? Yeah, I think so. How long do you want the breakout room to run, by the way?
Well, I kind of played it by ear yesterday. I don't know, 5 minutes, is that enough?
Okay,
Let's just do 5 minutes.
sounds good.
All righty. You're going to 2, right? I'm going to
2.
1. Okay. I'm just checking myself.
Mhm. It's like we're still in the breakout room.
We're the only ones that came back.
We did come back.
We must have been the efficient ones in our work.
I like the sharing is like in front of a mosaic. Like that's pretty dope.
Yeah. So they have a lot of these around at Greenberg. Like their whole vestibule is like covered with them. It's pretty cool. Some art, they buddied up with an art project years ago and did it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
all
look-
over the place. Look.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That is. That's really nice. Wow. I'm looking
Everywhere.
at the little black cat right there next to the tree. Like they put some detail on this puppy.
Yep.
That cat probably
They
looked hard to
got
do.
fish. They got fish in the water and turtles and lizards
lemon.
walking on the ground. Pretty
It could
cool.
be a wolf.
A wolf.
I like it. That could be a wolf. It's in the trees. It's not a wolf behind.
Where?
Right in the middle of that on that bush right there.
This
On
one?
that- yeah, that guy.
I think it's supposed to be a dog.
Okay.
But considering like second to fifth grade, I think did this. It's pretty cool.
That is
No, that's
great.
awesome.
All right, Jesse's going to represent group 1, which was the social and emotional one. Jesse, which one do you want to look at? Jesse, you're muted.
Sorry, I wasn't
That's okay.
muted in my breakout room. I forgot that I got muted again. Okay, so I think it was a relationship skills was the one that I was in for a sec. Yeah, so I just thought this was really nice. So you've got these 3 downloadable, these are customized Lumio activities. And I just thought that they kind of brought the conversation out to a different level. And I really thought I thought that I could see teachers using this qualities of a friend right away, because I thought that was a nice, it's probably a rank order that doesn't have any predefined correct answer, so that it can really be a springboard to a discussion. And I just kind of liked how, it gives the kids a chance to talk about these qualities, and then it gets tactile. So because they can touch it, move it, and rather than sort of talking in the abstract, kind of wrestle with those ideas, debate a little bit, and a debate in a way that sort of fosters a sort of a nice just sort of a more of a community, a school community, that the classroom community. I just sort of like that. And I think, Terry, I think so that's the one that I kind of reached out to me a little bit. But now I think as a group, we probably spent the most time talking about one that was, that was, I believe, in, was that in self-awareness, or social awareness, Terry? Maureen, what was that the one? Nope, wrong. Yep. Yeah. Well, I like that one too. I really like the fact that you've got this very simple super sort over here, but I want to show you it on self-control. But yeah, Terry, you know where I'm going.
Yeah, I do. I don't remember which one it was on. No,
Yeah, I can't either. Yeah, okay, good. So two things I want to point out to here first. On the left, you've got this really nice sort of 2-column T-chart sort of a diagram, which but it's been customized a little bit. So I think our teachers are a little more proficient. They love the graphic organizers, but seeing that they can sort of shrink the size of the graphic element and then add more to it as a starting place for an activity is a really nice kind of it's like intermediate advanced, I guess, but it's not that advanced. It's just, I'd say intermediate, but the fact that they've sort of customized that helpful or hurtful one on the left. And then in the center, I just want to know what club this lady's going out to after school, because that's quite an outfit that's being worn in that background.
Sorry, and we were pointing stuff out that I just had to point out. I asked them what they saw in that picture, and it was no. But I do think the one on the left is a good way to show them that now that we can shrink in some of these graphic organizers and make them be what we want them to be, kind of is very helpful to kind of give them some other ideas. So that was great. All right.
Real quick. The middle one's cool though, because it's a custom background on a match 'em up activity. And I think that one of the things, I think if we get a little thoughtful with how we use custom backgrounds, we can actually really weave that into our lesson in a way that adds a lot of content. So it really can reinforce what we're trying to teach, just by kind of having that background be on reinforce the subject matter. So I thought that kind of example, I mean, that one may not do it exactly, but the fact that it shows a custom background is very cool. And it's substantive, that custom background. It's not just to make it pretty in a different way.
Perfect. All right. And who from group 2 is going to talk about formative assessment?
Whoever wants to. Going once, going twice.
It's Ron.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Ron, because I got a lot of competition with voice here.
All right. So we liked a number of different things, but one of the things that I really liked was in student feedback. You click that. I love praise and polish. First of all, I just like the way that you the name of praise and polish, but the students coming to each other and being constructive and positive, working in the 2-column to help learn from each other, as well as guide each other and get a different perspective. I thought we all kind of thought that was pretty awesome. But there were a few others that we also put in our sheet also. We like to think pair square, the doodle, the 1-minute paper is also something that I like. I like that a lot because I feel like when you first learn something, the fact that you can get all those ideas that you learn and see how much you have acquired as far as knowledge is concerned in that 1 minute, it does a couple of things. First of all, it shows me, it puts out in the air what I have learned, but it also reinforces and it helps it stick, right? Yeah. So I like those things too, for that reason. But we thought there were so many different amazing tools in here for our kids to do. But absolutely, my favorite, and I think Sarah and some others were with me, was that polish.
Good, like it. All right, and I will eventually put this inside of Google Classroom so that you guys can see them all, and you can decide how you want to share these with your teachers. You know, if they're advanced, they could probably use them, or if you just want to take an idea and share it with a teacher, that's great too. So I just want you to know that those are all there, and we will continue to add to those toolkits, and we'll continue to come back to them so that you get to see them all. Now, because I got other things I got to get to. If you will hop back into my Lumio lesson, if you're not already there, I'm going to do a short introduction on Lumio. Notice I'm using the word introduction because it is not meant that when you are done, you are ready to teach them how to use Lumio or how to use Desmos embedded in Lumio. What I want you to know going forward is that Michelle is committed to doing more PD just with Desmos as itself and then combining it with Lumio because it's one of the district approved apps. So it makes sense that everybody knows how to use it. What I want you to understand, there's several components to Desmos. Right now, we're just talking about Desmos graphing calculator. And it really is for 6 to 12 instruction. Okay. I'm going to show you a high school example and a middle school example and show you how it can be used. Could I use it in a 4th or 5th grade class? Yeah, I could. But educationally wise, there's so many other things that those elementary kids could do that we probably want to not push it into the elementary realm. And that's kind of from Lauren, Michelle, and I, that we're saying the graphing calculator piece of this is really 6 to 12. Okay, so I just want to set that tone just as we go forward. The first one we're going to look at is quadratics. This is more of a high school algebra 1 kind of example to kind of give you an idea. And so I want to show you, we've had Desmos in SDP for a while, but now how do we use Desmos, combine it with Lumio because it's embedded inside of it. So that's kind of the idea I want to give you. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to reset this. Hold on.
Can you turn that back to the teacher pacing for following?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ron.
Thanks.
Yep. All right, I'm going to break you into 2 teams. Maybe I'm going to break you into 2 teams. There we go. Now I'm going to break you into 2 teams. I'm going to create a workspace, and I'm going to use this as a graffiti wall. So your group has a graffiti board that I want you to tell me everything you know about quadratic functions. Tell me everything you know about quadratic functions. You can use the pen tool. You can write on the graph. You can use the white space. You can use pictures. You can do whatever you want. But in 60 seconds or less, put something about quadratics that you know. That would be a parabola. I'm going to turn it off so you can't see it. But tell me whatever you know as a group on quadratics. Oh, group 1's got somebody who knows some stuff. They've got, it's a polynomial, can be shown on a graph. They drew a graph. Group 2, group 2 is putting in some pictures. That's awesome. Oh, I like foldables. They have a foldable for it too. I do like foldables. And they gave some great ideas inside of here. Now, the Desmos itself, if you just use the Desmos website, think of it basically as handouts and nothing else. Okay, if you've never used Desmos, that's what it basically can do. It doesn't call it a handout, but that's similar to what it can do. It can't do these small group cooperative workspaces, so that's where this becomes something to do. Because I would have kids do this as my opener, so I kind of can gauge where activating that prior knowledge. What do they know? Kind of go through that. Now, what I'm going to have them do next is move on to the actual Desmos. So on your side, it will say start. Okay. The Desmos app works very similar to the YouTube app, where when the kids at home or in their classroom hit start, it's their own copy to do whatever they want with. Okay. I've just pushed it to them. Okay. I, as a teacher, cannot see yours. So it's more for that experimental stage at this point in time. This is phase 1 of Desmos. There are at least 2 more stages planned at this point in time, so we'll be adding more. A takeaway for you right now is to make sure if you're working with a teacher and says, I wish it could do, we want to make sure we do that request a feature, because the more we request things, the quicker it becomes. All right, so what I want to do is in this particular lesson, in a 5-minute lesson that I would be doing in 45 minutes, is I wanted them to learn the vertex form of a parabola, okay? So you'll notice I have a picture in here, I have the graph, and I have sliders on the left-hand side. So on your version, you all have a slider for A, H, and K. Okay, so what I want you to do is play with the slider for A. So you're just moving it around. And then I would be having that small group discussion about saying, hey, what happens when the A is positive? What happens when the A is negative? What happens when the A is 0? Okay. And I would ask the kids those type of questions. And yesterday I put Dwayne on the spot. Anybody want to be put on the spot today? I asked the English teacher yesterday. No. He said, it kind of goes up and down, Terry. What'd you say, Ron?
Definitely not, but thank you.
But you get the idea as the kids are learning what that A value does inside of the graph. Same thing with the H and the K. Okay. What the H moves it up or left or right. The K moves the maximum point or minimum point, the vertex point, up or down. The kids are learning just about it, but what they're trying to do is match the picture that I put in there, just to have a little bit more perspective in it, and it'll make sense in a minute here.
So Terry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When you open Desmos, you can tell I've never opened it. You get the left panel. It's already done for you, or are you filling that in?
So I made it kind of like when you pick a YouTube video, you put it on the screen for the kids. I
Right.
can choose what to put on the screen when I'm in edit mode, and then that's what the kids see when it's in delivery mode. Does that make sense? I'll show you where I put it in. Okay. Those are good questions though. But this is really short to make. It didn't take me any time at all. And you do not have to be the expert in this. You just have to understand how the tool kind of functions, because the math teacher should be able to put the stuff in the left side, but we want you to be aware that it's there and how many different things are there. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next activity, which is still inside of still the same particular one. I just added a couple different features to it. So when you hit start on your side, you will notice in line 1, it says, will he make the basket? Okay. To where the number 1 is, you will see a circle. Okay. When you click on that circle, I've actually hidden stuff. So when you click on that circle, the whole folder appears. So you get to see everything that's inside of that folder. So now you should see, if you click on that, the whole basketball. I want to know if he'll make it. So now Ron, look, he's already going. He's trying to figure out if he's going to make the basket using quadratics. I can see his eyes moving. But what you guys need to see is it's a folder. So that means if I open up the triangle, I can see everything that's basically under the hood. So it's the same exact stuff that was in the last one. It's just hidden a little bit. Okay. Now,
I like that a lot.
all right.
So,
It is
so
a
these, Terry, I know the teachers love about Desmos is they can go in, they can find a million pre-made things. Seems like this is not that way. The teacher needs to be preparing their example. Is that right?
yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Jesse, until we make more of them. Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Okay.
So, and you're just
They
showing
got
us.
shoes like Jesse. They got shoes like Jesse. So the answer is no.
Well, the kids I focus when I work with these with kids is I really focus on the A, the H, and the K first. And then I let them get into the basketball discussion, because somebody will say, oh no, that's going to hit the rim and bounce out the way the angle's coming in. Oh, that'll hit the backboard and bounce in. It's good. So they have great discussions, but you just got to focus them. But what I want you all to know is the important tech part of this is the long hold. So if you see my equation in line 3, the y equals a parentheses x minus h squared, do you see the blue line?
A little slower, Tara.
Okay.
You said line 3.
Line 3.
Okay, I see line 2. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. There we go.
Okay. And you see there's a blue line. That's the graph. If you do a long hold on that blue button, that's where you get options. So inside of the Desmos app, it's the long hold that's important for you guys to know, because like that blue that I picked for the graph is a horrible picture. I can't see it. So I'm going to change mine, and I'm going to make it the thickness part, maybe go up to 9. It makes it much better for it to be able to see. So when you're looking for options inside of Desmos, the most important thing for you to know is it's a long hold. Anytime that there are options, the long hold will give me whatever options are available. Okay,
Oh, look, that's cool in your background. It gives you the opacity choice on your background. That's amazing. So you can see your graph paper behind it. Very
yep,
cool.
and I can make it, like, if that's not quite light enough, I can make it a lot lighter on my own screen. So the long hold is what's gonna give you those options. Okay, that's probably the biggest thing people need to know, because they try to right click, they try to do whatever, it's just a long hold. All right, now, what this does not have is, so I can't see your paper. So what they need to teach the kids how to do is take a screenshot, because now we're gonna use that in either a handout, a workspace. I would use it as a shout it out. You do not need to take a picture of yours. But what I would have done with my normal kids is after they've done it, you'll notice I have directions down here. So when I add stuff, I can add expressions, notes, tables, folders, and images. So I just added a note, and line 7, it says, when you're done with your folder, take a screenshot, make sure it has the graph and the equation, because we're going to use it. So what I would have done in my class is taken them over to a shout it out, and I want them to tell me, did it make the basket or did it not? And Dave put one in here yesterday being funny, but you get the idea, where I can go through them all then and be talking about those A, H, and Ks with them to get that discussion going, the whole group discussion instead of small group discussion now. Okay, but I could have very easily asked them to put their picture in and tell me why they picked H, K, and whatever. And then to kind of wrap that up for assessment for this one, I would have been looking at something like this, where there is no Desmos, and I give them the graph. And this is something that you can help teachers with, is they can take screenshots. So when I'm in edit mode, I can take screenshots of any Desmos I want, throw it on a blank page. And now I can ask kids very pointed questions about the graph without them having the graphing calculator, because I want to learn. Do they know anything about A? As long as they pick a negative number here, I'm quite happy, because they know it has to be a negative value because it's going down. So that tells me they learned something from this as we move forward. Okay, that's one example. What I want to do is I'm going to add a page on the fly right now. So just like you can add a whiteboard and a shout it out, they've also added Desmos as a add on the fly. So I'm going to add a Desmos on the fly right now. You guys should all be able to see the start on your side.
But were
Okay.
you in edit mode? No, you weren't in edit mode. You were just in a plus. You just used the plus from your
Yep.
teacher panel,
Yep.
and you had, okay.
Okay, so it's not pre-populated with anything because I just added a blank one. But in line 1, what I want you all to do is I want you to type in y equals mx plus b. And for those of you that don't remember, that's your standard algebra equation of a line. And I just want you to see, after you type in y equals mx plus b, right there, it's saying add the sliders on hopefully all of your screens. Literally click all, and now you got your sliders to play with. It's really easy to do. If I wanted to add a picture, and if I did this in edit mode, it would already be done for the kids. I'm in obviously delivery mode because I wanted you all to be able to experience it right now. Literally, to add that picture background, all I did was hit the plus, put my image up. Ooh, kind of scary to see what images I actually have on my desktop at this point in time. Here we go.
Okay, we can't see it.
Good.
Terry,
Yeah.
question for you. I know you've had some conversation with Michelle. So coming up, are you going to be working on kind of the more of the how-to building piece of this?
Yeah.
With the group? Okay.
Yeah, because we also need Lauren's spin on it because we want it to come from the mathematical mind. Okay, but I just wanted to show you kind of how easy it is, how the sliders were not hard. I didn't have to work hard to know anything in the background. That teachers, especially your math teachers, will be able to handle this. They just have to get into it once. But now you have it in the power of the kids. I am going to move on just for the sake of time.
So wait 1 second, Terry. So if you
Yep.
put an equation on that page, then how do you make that something the kids can do? Oh, that's a new page. Do you have to
That's-
make it a handout activity, or it's like automatically a handout activity? When they get to it, it's like free form
So,
for there.
If
That
I
seems
do it on the
inconsistent to
fly,
me.
Jesse, if I do it on the fly, like I just did it in delivery mode and hit plus, and Desmos, it's gonna be blank for the kids have to build.
All right.
If I do it in edit mode, and I'll show you that at the very end, if I do it in edit mode and save it, then it automatically will push out to the kids.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you the one more example first. This one is, oops. Hold on, going backwards, not forward. All right, so this one's a linear, this isn't linear, this is the statistics one, and I'm gonna look
I
at
love a
this
box of
lens
whiskers.
of 6th grade. Okay, because this is a PSSA assessment. That's 6th grade. Okay, so it aligns right with 6th grade. So what I would first have my kids do is I would have them figure out what that line plot shows below. Oh, that's 2 zeros. That's a 1. That's 2 2s. That's a 3. So we would be discussing those kind of features. Okay, so we would be writing the list of data down. Now, inside of Desmos, I can then, if you'll hit start on your side, you'll actually see the list. Okay, I can plot that particular one very easily. All I did was put in H, list all of my items, and then I asked it to graph a box plot for me. And there's my box plot. And you'll notice on
Wait,
the
how did you ask for a box plot?
all right, I'm going to get to that in a minute. But
Okay.
before I do that, what I might say to the kids is, oops, I forgot a value. Can you add in the value of 10? So on your side, you are all in control. So all you would have to do is put a comma and a 10, and you're now adding data right into that list. And then I'd probably ask them to look at what their window is to make sure they can see the whole box. Oh, how'd that change that box and whisker plot? How did that? And you can have a lot of discussions without it being heavy into this. Okay. Now, to answer Sharon's question, how did I do this? Bottom left-hand corner, guys. There's like a keyboard down there. That's actually the graphing calculator. So if you actually click on that keyboard, here's the calculator. The kids can use it. You can use it. Most math teachers do not use this because they know what they're typing with the keyboard shortcuts. So for instance, if I'm looking for a squared, I usually type in a caret 2 because that's a squared. So I use my caret key. That's most math teachers already know that because all equation editors work the same way. But they can use this if they need to. And then Sharon asked a really good question about the box plot. So under the word functions, guys, you will see a lot of different things. Most of you, other than Shawnee, probably won't ever have to deal with the trig stuff. And Shawnee, the teacher themselves can deal with that. You don't have to, you just need to know that it's there. The statistics are all the middle school stuff, guys, and up. So if I'm looking at how to find the mean of a list of data, literally all I need to do is type in mean of H, and it's going to give me what the mean is for that amount of data that I have as H, because I set it as H, because I was talking about something, and I don't remember what I was talking about. So I called it H. I could have called it any letter I wanted to, but that's how those functions work. If you keep on going over, probably the ones that are all middle school related would be the histogram, the dot plot, and the box, and it calls it a box plot here, a box and whisker plot. Those are probably the 3 that most middle school people are going to use.
You
And
know,
then there's-
Terry, I'm missing something here. One is, so you added the 1 on your end, right? You added the H equation.
Yep.
And how are you adding lines to it? You got a 1, a 2. How do you? Oh, is it the plus with the no?
You
How
just
do you?
click in the next line.
Oh, I see it now. All right, fine, thanks.
Yep, that's
And
good.
where did you find that variety of functions? I didn't. I
So
didn't
in the
catch that.
keyboard in the bottom left-hand corner, Jesse,
Oh, okay, the keyboard. Now I see it.
and then
Thank
you
you.
just type in functions. There is some other ones, and we'll get into some of these ones in miscellaneous eventually, but like the polygon one will literally make a polygon for you. So then you can be plotting polygons. You can do some other things inside of here. As I said, it'll just take a minute or time to kind of get you an idea. But literally, I can be walking them through strategies of how to solve that problem from the PSSAs using some of this and using that student discourse that they would have. And then again, I would end it with something where I took a picture put it in a blank slide, and make this a handout. Give me 3 observations from this. So I want them to either tell me what the range is, what the interquartile range is, what the median is, just to kind of give them some of that vocabulary that they would then be able to use with me. Okay. Now to wrap this up, if teachers need Desmos help, you're going to want to click on the link that's on your screen right now. You're not going to have to be the Desmos expert. You're just going to have to know that it's there and how it can kind of play in there. But this leads you right to the Desmos graphing calculator help. So if somebody is asking how to deal with points, how to deal with equations, sliders, just send them here. I mean, you can see all the different things it can do, like a table of values. You can plot points in here and then kind of talk about what's happening, find the equation that best fits. You can look at the statistics that I was just talking about. So these videos will be the helpers for them. Smart is not going to create new ones because it's a Desmos tool, but we're going to lead them to the right spot though. So if they need Desmos help, this is what's going to help them. Unless Lauren decides to do more, and that's going to be up to her, and she'll be at one of our future ones. Lauren is like the math person for 312, maybe, or she K-12. Anyway, just direct them there for the Desmos help if they need it to kind of give you an idea. And then to answer Jesse's question, there's a couple things I want to take note of. I'm going to go into, so if you watch my screen real quick, I'm going to go into edit mode so that I can show you how it looks. Let me return to the home page first. I do want to tell you we have been adding a ton of resources in the Explore resources. And if you have ideas for stuff that want to go in there, just let me know. I'll help you put them in there. But if you look at the Explore resources, I specifically put stuff in there for graphs because math and science were lacking. So if a teacher is teaching math, they may want these and add them to their library. That way they can add them to any slide. So that parabola one that I was doing, the graffiti wall, is in here. They literally could just add this page. I put some stuff in here for science so that they have just blank pages that they can put in here. I also will give you another idea inside of here because I had a teacher that had a PDF of a public release item. And she said, my kids are going to solve it using graph paper. I said, no problem. Pull this up because remember now I can unlock stuff, copy it, and I can paste it right on top of that PDF because of the way that it's all working now. So just realize there's a lot of stuff inside that Explore resources that they may want to use to go with it. And if there's other things they need, if they tell us, I can easily get stuff put up there and added so everybody can use it. Okay. Now,
Right.
Yep. Go ahead, Jesse.
No. Sorry, I was off.
Okay.
I just said great. I said great. I was just off mute. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Now, so this was what I was talking about before. When I am in one of my graphing calculators in edit mode and I edit the activity, whatever I put in here right now will show up on the kid side. Okay, so when I add one of these activities, I'm just going to add a plus. And I add a Desmos activity, I'm in edit mode. So if I put that y equals mx plus b, create all the sliders, put a picture here and then hit finish. When I deliver that, it's going to be there for the kids as a starting point. There's going to be times where I want them to build from a blank calculator, but then there's times where I'm wanting them, I want you to tell me what the M does. I want you to tell me what the B does. So I want all that already preset. So the kids are just using the sliders to figure out what those activities do. Okay. But that's as easy as it is to create some of this stuff. And I am 2 minutes over. So I do not want to take more time. Unless you guys have more questions, I'll definitely stay around. But if not, I am 2 minutes over. So I'm going to stop the recording. And then pause there.